today with one of our Arizona drag racing legends, John Aleman. Did I say that right?
Correct.
Perfectly. The big mystery of the world for me was, am I saying his last name right? So I'm glad I passed the test. Welcome, John.
Thank you.
So where are you from?
Chandler?
You're an Arizona native,
Yes.
and you grew up around all these people, great people from Chandler, and all the great stories of the Chandler gang, and
Oh, yeah.
crazy stories. But and you're part of some of those crazy stories, I'm sure. But where'd you go to high school?
Chandler High.
And your dad was big into racing, so was that always a part of you when growing up, was the
Yes.
racing, or did
Always. I started out a little bit different. I raced motorcycles for a long time and reached the pro level and then just got out of it.
what kind of racing was it? Motorcycles,
Motocross
motocross.
and cross country.
So that was pretty crazy.
Yes,
Young man's game.
very much so.
So what was your first bike? Your
Well, I remember the first ones I rode back in the early 70s. My mother wanted motorcycles for my dad and her to ride around the ranch on. Well, needless to say, I put thousands of miles on those motorcycles that summer, and that's where it started for me.
so it's being your youthful exuberance. You rode the bike and you rode it faster and faster and faster, and said, "Hey, hold my
Yeah.
beer."
That's right. Yeah.
The grew up on a ranch.
Hmm.
So, and the long mainstay name of the family's racing efforts has been sheep herder.
Yes.
Did you have sheep on this ranch?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And what do you remember? Did you work the ranch? Did you?
Oh yeah.
So-
I'd spend the summers at the ranch with the sheep,
Where was the ranch at?
north of Williams.
Okay. So this is the day when did you truck them up there? Did you do any moving with herds and?
They used to, when my dad was a kid, they would walk them up there, and then they started putting them on trains going back and forth. And then by the time I was a kid, that we were trucking them.
I remember seeing some of the stories, and over the years, like Arizona highways would have pictures of the people moving their sheep, through the desert up the. That must have been some crazy days.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was before my days.
Yeah, well, timing is everything,
Yes.
as they say. So you big time into the sheep business, and and you got you learned a lot about actually working hard, and because there is no easy life when you're involved with things like that. Tell me about your dad.
Very talented, smart individual. And he was tough, though. But very, very sharp mechanically. Cars, he started building cars when he was a teenager and just progressed from there. And I learned it from him.
So it progressed, and eventually became big into drag racing.
Yes.
Was it always an altered, or what did he start out with?
Well, he did have the street roadster, the little 23T street roadster, blown 2 4-barrels 430 Lincoln in it, and would drive it to the drag strip, run 9 seconds, and then drive it home.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But so when do you remember? What's your first drag race you remember going to?
I have vague memories of him going to Winslow with that car.
Was that so? That would be
Late 60s, early 70s, something like that.
So would that be coming from Williams, or would that be coming from?
He'd be
Chandler?
coming from Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of great racers back over the days. We'd like to have more communication within our Legends series from Northern Arizona. So we want to build that out. There's a lot of awesome people from Flagstaff, Winslow, Williams, and parts
Yes.
north. So that's interesting. When did he get the urge for nitro?
I remember him. He bought, before he started building the chassis. He bought that Ford camera motor, And I do remember that getting delivered. This would have been about 70, 71. And my grandfather going out there looking at it going, I don't think this goes in one of the trucks. And that's where it started from there. Yeah. But probably by I think about 76 is when he started running it.
So the first altered?
Yeah, there's still parts of it
Right.
that I have now.
So the car you have you found that was his car at one time?
Yes, he sold the chassis and the car, not the body. Not the body and the front wheels. He kept that. And then 5-6 years ago, when I found where NHRA changed the rules for the fuel altered class, then I started looking for the chassis. I found it.
Where was it?
In Mexico. We were at one of the sand drags, and I was talking to one of the other racers. I said, yeah, I've been kind of looking for that chassis. And he goes, my nephew has it in Mexico. So I brought it back. Of course, looking back on it now, it would have been easier to build a new chassis.
But it would have been the same.
Yeah, it wouldn't been. Right now, there's not a lot left of it, of the original chassis.
You front halved it, then back halved it, and then middle
Yep.
halved it, and it's all.
Yep. I
Good.
think there's about this much of it still the original chassis.
So the body,
Body was still the original body.
and you've done your best to blow it off the car a couple times, and
'Cause I'm running so much faster.
right.
It's been hard on it. And I have found now I started reinforcing it on the inside with carbon fiber, which has held up very well. And this winter, Squeege is going to repaint it.
Really,
Yeah.
that's in the
His
same.
Squeege, yeah, same thing. His dad painted it originally. So he's going to redo it this winter.
And I see you're helping him with a project.
Yes.
What's he got going on?
It's going to be a blown injected alcohol, I guess, what do you call it, like a panel truck. And I was over there, he's got an old Milidon 426, and I was over there getting the cam set, checking everything. And
John lives an interesting life, and the nice thing about it is he's very social. So there's pictures of him. It's easy to follow what John's doing on Facebook.
yes.
And I saw the pictures of you putting it together, and it looked like a brand new engine. I mean, it's like that shiny.
Well, Doug had everything polished.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be interesting. So, from the time you were racing the motorcycles, and you hung your helmet up for that,
Mhm.
and your knee guards and your elbow guards and all that.
Mhm.
How long did it take for you to start going drag racing?
Well, I'd always been going, with my dad, but went off kind of on my own about the mid to late 80s with Ron Sutherland with the Desert Rat Funny Car, and learned a lot there. And then we parked that, and then when my dad sold his car to Charlie Brown to run it in the sand drags, my dad kind of sold me with it to help him with it. And
So you were the tuner, the tribal knowledge guy, and
yeah, and then there towards the end and back in 2015 or something, was helping a guy with the Top Fuel sand drags with the regular Top Fuel car. It was, matter of fact, it was Bernstein's 06 car, and we set the records with it.
so the drag, you were drag racing involved deeply, but it was on sand.
On sand, yeah.
And that's a whole interesting family of people in itself, and a lot of
It's-
crossover from asphalt. And
The car itself, if you look at all the parts, we had all the same stuff on that they have on asphalt, just the tune-up changed. So,
And so what made you? So the idea, you looked at the NHRA rules, And he said, "Hey, this looks like something I want to get back involved with."
Yes.
So you got together, you located the car. I know you put a lot of work in it just to get it out get it out. Took it out a few times and kind of had a few different people in the seat, but eventually Corey Lee.
Corey Lee drives.
And he looks like he's been doing a pretty good job for you.
Yes, very good.
And the exciting news is that you won the big race in Boise this year.
Yes.
How did that feel?
Felt good, and that all the work that we've done, our whole group, it felt really good.
Who all helps you with the car?
I've got Jim Green, Pat Nell, Charlie Lowe, Craig Hammer, and his wife Cara, and we got a good group. I mean, I couldn't do it without them.
Every once in a while, Eddie Pauling puts in a guest appearance at the races with you, though.
Yeah, he tries to go with us to all the races when he can.
Yeah, when he comes down off the mountain.
Yes.
Yeah, he's somebody else we'd like to, get and have an interview with, and we will do that. We'll get him and Ed Phillip together and do that, and then the winemaker team. But so the progress with the car, you're going to get it repainted. Basically, it's a new car with a great heritage name.
Yes.
You get many people come up to you at the races going, "I remember this car when."
Oh yeah, quite a bit. Even when we're in Boise, I've had people come up. "Oh, I remember this in Tucson."
The Fuel Altered Nationals.
Fuel Altered Nationals.
So your dad did win any of those events? My memory's not clear on that. He was always one of the heavy hitters.
Yeah, I think they did a couple times. But I was fairly young at the time, so.
Well, you're still fairly young, so that's the whole idea of this of life, is to feel like you're young and stay involved. So you won Boise, you won a Wally, and you sleep at nights with it. Is it in the pillow next to you, or?
No, it's on my nightstand.
On your nightstand, okay. He stands guard over you, okay.
That's right.
Well, congratulations on that.
Yeah.
What are your future plans?
We'll be going to Bakersfield for the reunion race in October. Kyle Huff will be driving the car.
Okay.
Because Corey also drives Gary Turner's funny car, but he tunes it, he works on it, and he just can't do both. So we came to the agreement that I put Kyle in the car. And there's a lot of family history between mine and the Huffs.
Kyle's a pretty good driver in his own right, so
yes,
that's very encouraging.
Yes,
and tell you what's going on with the car, just like Corey could, and that's the big input, is that you as an owner and a tuner need to know what's the car doing. Yeah,
my biggest problem now is slowing it down.
Yeah, you run the 6 flat.
To run the 6 flat, I mean, we ran 592 and up there, and I got in trouble from NHRA, but
you've been a bad boy.
I was a bad boy, but Corey just got in the habit of shutting it off at the 1,000-foot mark, and it'd run 6.0s in the teens. So.
Who's of the 6.0 fuel alters? It's kind of been growing and it's shrinking and then growing some more. Johnny West. Who else is involved with the other cars?
A lot of them out there. Lyle Greenberg. And I'm having brain fade right now. Tom Patella.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lyle's from Albuquerque, and he has a big problem slowing down as well.
Yes.
He goes crazy.
Yeah.
Car runs really well.
Yes. Corey says this car, if we were to want to step on it on a good track, we could run 60s.
Right.
Yeah.
But why?
But why? Got to slow it down. And after, in Boise, we never had the heads off it.
That's the ideal weekend.
Yes.
So I'd like to encourage people, if you haven't seen the 6.0 fuel altereds, they are entertaining, and they give you all the thrills. The 6.0 part, I mean, they can, I've seen people run it flat out, even though they knew they weren't supposed to, just to prove a point. And that's the exciting part about it, because it's still the wild spirit of a fuel altered driver. Some are longer, the funny car type lengths, but yours, what's the wheelbase on your car?
125.
125.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the average car now is one.
Yeah,
pretty much.
maximum.
Right.
That's a part of the rules they have. That's one of them, 125. And don't run quicker than 6.0.
And no automatics.
Mm-hmm. That's getting to be a gray area,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
Okay, well, let me know.
Yeah.
You guys do a great job. I'm really excited that you had the time to come visit with us today. Your dad definitely a legend. You're definitely a legend. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.